So can we start the class?
Yes, Sahil. All right. Okay. I'm sharing my screen now. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Can you confirm?
Yeah, yeah, we can.
Okay. All right. Okay. So yesterday we are like done with the authentication and authorization, and we have like seen how we can like create a users and we can allow the user and deny the user for a particular page, and we have like created users under the credentials, so only these user can access the application. Anonymous user cannot access the application. And further we have like further provide the authorization access to the further pages. Like a user page can only be accessible to user Pawan and user admin, and deny to user star star means to say apart from these two user, uh, everyone is like denied to access this user dot aspx page. Okay, so today we will like discuss how we can today we will discuss how we can create the roles, and we can assign the roles uh, to the users. And roles are like based on the roles, user will be able to access the pages. Okay, so here you can see, first let me explain the structure of this project first. So here you can see we have admin folder and user folder. So in admin, let's say we have like default 1, 2, and 3 pages. And there is a second folder that is user. Again, we have this default 4, default 5 user pages. And on the outside the, or we can say on the root level, we have login page and a default page. Okay, let's understand this now. Again, we are uh, using the authentication. So here you can see we are using the authentication mode is form, and the authentication will be performed by login.aspx page. Okay, now there is a change in this code. So here you can see now we are uh, providing the location path equals to admin. ADM is basically admin representing this ADM folder. Now we are saying we are authorizing the ADM folder to admin role only, right? If the user has a role admin, then admin can access this ADM folder, the content of a ADM folder, and same for the, and apart from the admin, everyone is denied. And same for the user folder, only user role can access this user folder content, and apart from the user, everyone is denied. So basically we increase the scope of authentication and authorization based on roles. Okay. Okay, let's go to the login page. Okay, in the login page, we have like just username, then text box, a password, then text box, and a login button. So when we click on this login button, what we are doing, we are okay. Uh, yeah, I think we have not discussed the connectivity part, right? So for this part, we need to first understand how we can connect the application with the database. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me switch to the different system. So on this system, I do not have the database installed. Let me switch to the different source so that we can first understand the database connectivity part. Then we will again come back on this. So we will check how we can create the roles and how we can assign the user under the roles. Okay, just give me a minute, please. Okay, yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, I'm opening my like a small project, and I will explain how like we are like creating a database connectivity and all. Okay, and for database connectivity, what setting we need, uh, what setting required to set up in the web config file. Okay, so let me open the my database as well. So I'm using Microsoft SQL Server 2008 as a database server. So so once like you have like installed this, so you will have these two or three details like the server name, the authentication. Authentication is SQL Server authentication, and the username. Login means a username and a password. Okay. So I am like now connected with the database, SQL Server database. So under this database folder, you will see we have like multiple database like account DB, DB test, mini bank. So these all are like the databases. Let's say let me open this mini bank. So under this mini bank we have this table folder, and under the table we have these HL tables. Okay, let me open any. I'm just opening the user. Need to select the database, that is a mini bank. So execute. So I have two record. One is Pawan and second one is Ravi. So user type is admin and password is 123 for Pawan. Okay, let me run this project, and then further we can discuss all the components. So so I'm going to log in with this user Pawan with password 123. So I am logged in with Pawan user, so we can see some records. So these all records are basically we are fetching from database. So here we can say we can click on open account. When once we like fill the details and hit on create new account, so detail will be saved inside the table. And in a view account we can search the record. So this record is basically again we are fetching from database, and further we can fetch the details. So the main idea is first for the first step is we need to connect our application with database. Okay. So very first thing, just you need to go to this web.config file. So in this web.config file, you need to create one setting that is called connection setting. So this connection setting is basically representing the DB database server connection details. So we are adding one connection. Its name is DB connection string. And what the connection string is, that is data source. Data source means to say a database server name. Let me open it again. See, the server name is text of LD72JHT something. So that is like the data source. Okay. And the second one is initial catalog. Initial catalog is your database name. So like in our case, database name is mini bank. So so you need to provide the initial catalog as a database name, the mini bank. Then user ID is like SA. When we can like connecting with the database, we are providing SA, and the password is SA@123. So this is a password to connect with the DBs. Okay, integrity security true means to say we are providing username, a user ID and password. If we do not have any, we can also set Windows authentication. In that case, we do not need to provide username or password. So if you are like connecting using the Windows authentication, then uh, obviously you will not provide user ID or password. In that case, the integrity security will be false. Okay. And the third attribute we need to provide, that is a provider name. That is the namespace. That is system.data.sql client. So basically, using this SQL client, we will like able to connect with the database server using this connection string. Okay. So this is the first setting we need to perform. Okay. Now moving to the like connection file. How we can like connect the database, what namespaces or what name classes we required to connect with the database. So here I have like created separate connection file. So this connection file basically fetch the connection string from the web.config file, and we will pass that connection string details to SQL connection class. So this SQL connection class is responsible to make a connection between application and server. Okay, so the first thing you need to add is namespace system.data.sql client, and I have like created a custom class that is connection, and we have like taken a SQL connection class. So the object is con. Under the constructor we have like initialize con equals to new SQL server, and in the parameter of this connection SQL connection class we supposed to pass a connection string, which is we already define inside web.config file. So we need to fetch this detail. Why we are like providing this connection string detail in web config file? Let's say in future your server is changed, maybe your password is changed, like that is a this like standard practice, maybe a quarterly or monthly or twice after 2 weeks, like due to the security reasons. So the DB teams like change the connection details, or in any scenario, we can say in any scenario, like in case the details are changed, so we do not need to go inside the actual code and change the connection detail. We just need to update the web config file. So system application will automatically fetch the details from the web.config file. So how we can fetch the details? So here we have like configuration manager. So this configuration manager is like used to read the details from the web config file. So here we are like saying the configuration manager dot connection string. So this connection string is basically you can relate with this tag connection string. Okay. And this connection string can have multiple connection string. Maybe your application is connected with two databases or three databases, right? So we have like multiple add tags with the different connection names. Okay, so which connection string we want to fetch? So we will provide the name in the scare bracket, DB connection string. So this is the same DB connection name. So when we are like saying connection string dot DB connection string, so this will return the connection string details. Then this thing. So we can relate as a key value pair. So DB connection string is the key and the value is this data source, the initial catalog, username and password. So it will return At this point, we are just converting the details to toString. Okay, so now SQL connection class has the details, or we can say fetch the details from the web.config file. Then after that, when once we are saying con.open, con is the connection, then we are saying dot open, then application will create a connection with database. Which database? That is we mention in the web.config file. So this is the only code we can say who make the DB connection with the application. Okay. Okay now. So let's say the connection is done. Let me explain. So let's say this is our application and this is our DB. Okay. So first we send a request from client to server. This is or application to server. This is app and this is DB server. So request will be sent by SQL client, SQL connection. Okay, and once we let's say the object is con, when we are saying con.open, so this connection will be created between application and server. So this class is only just responsible to create or make a connection between application and database server. Okay, now the next step is now we want to perform the transaction. Transactions means to say insert or we can say the CRUD operation. Create the record, read the record, update the record and delete the record. Okay, that is create is insert, select, uh, update and delete. So for these operation we have a different the different classes. So we'll understand for insert which class we need to use, for the select which class we need to use. Okay, so first we will uh, I mean we will check with the select operation. If we like we have some data in database or in table, I want to read this data from the table. So for the reading, obviously we design this select query. So how we can send this select query from application to DB server, and when server return the data to application, how we handle that information or which class basically we use to handle that information. Okay, so I'm going to login page. So this is the default page, we can say the login. So when we are saying and we are entering username and password, then clicking on login. So basically we are sending username and password to DB, and DB will check this username or password exists, then it will allow me to enter in the application. Okay. So for this we have like on the login button, we have like created a login service class, and we have a model, login model, and further we providing this login model. Login model is just nothing, just two properties, username and password, and we are populating username password and sending that model to login check method. So login check will create a transaction or execute the select query, and we will like get the data. Okay, let's see this check method, login check method. Okay. So here we have two classes. One is SQL command and second is SQL data adapter. Okay. One is a SQL command. Second is SQL data adapter. Okay. So, okay, this is the select query. We not need to use this SQL command. We just need SQL data adapter. So if you want to perform any, select query, you can use this SQL data adapter class. Okay, so in the login check method, first we are like checking the state of connection. The connection is already established between application or server or not. If connection is not established, then we cannot run the select query. So first step is to verify the connection is established or not. So we are checking, we are saying, okay, so here you can see in the login service class, we inherit the connection class. The connection class is nothing, is this one. Okay, so this is a public, so we can access this public member in login service class. So we are saying if connection state will return the status of the connection, closed, open. So we have like this, you can see broken, closed, open, right? So the we are saying if the connection state is closed, then we call the open method. Means to say if connection is not established, first establish the connection, then we execute the SQL query. So in case, let's say the connection is already established, so then this if will not execute. So the connection is already there, so we can directly execute the query. Okay, so in SQL data adapter, we have two parameters. One is the SQL query, and second one is the connection detail. Okay, so you can say you can see in the help the string select command text, and second is SQL connection. So the login check is basically a store procedure, which I have like created in DB. So here you can say under the programming store procedure. So I have login check. What if I, yeah, this one. So I'm just saying uh, we are providing this two parameter username and password, and we are saying select ID and user type from user table where username is which is coming from application and password again coming from application. This is the select query. That is we have stored in the SQL check store procedure, and this same store procedure I am calling from SQL data adapter. And we have the second parameter is a connection. Okay, and then we are providing SQL connection type, SQL command type. Command type means to say what type of command we are executing using data adapter. We are saying we are executing store procedure. Okay, and this store procedure will take two parameters. One is username and password. So we can provide like this ad.select command.parameters.add, then the parameter name. You can see the username, that is the same @username, that is a parameter. And the next is @password. Okay, and we are providing the data type as well. The data type is varchar and the length is 100. And the value we are providing, which is coming from model. Model means to say coming from parameter model dot username, model dot password. So like these three statements, we able to execute the store procedure and basically providing the parameters. Okay. Okay. So now we can say the select query is ready. Once let's say this query get executed, it will return me data. Like what data? Like I have said select star from username. It is returning me this table. two records. So this record will be, we are going to store inside dataset. Okay, we'll store inside dataset. So now we are saying ad.fill. Ad.fill means once when we execute this store procedure, it will return me the data. So and data we are going to fill inside dataset. Okay, and we are just giving the data as a key, that is a users. Okay, and to fetch the details from the dataset, there is a like a for loop we can say. So dataset is basically, we can say, the structure similar to the table, like we have row and columns. So we need to fetch the data from the tables based on rows. So so data is inside DS. So we are saying ds.table, table is the user, and we are fetching row. So we basically get the two rows, and one by one we are like transferring the data in data row, and further we are getting data row 0 and data row 1. 0 and 1 is column. Okay, and we are populating user ID and user type in these two properties, model.id and model.user type. And once we like fetch the detail and save the detail in appropriate variables, we will say dispose. We execute the dispose. Dispose means to say we are forcefully executing the destructor on this class, because we do not need the instance in memory anymore, because the purpose is already done. And we close the connection. So we execute the query, fetch the data, store the data inside model, and finally we are returning the model. Okay, so model is, you can see, so we have username, ID, username, password, and user type. Okay. Okay, so this is a login. Okay. Okay, so now the data is returned by login checked, and we save that data inside model. Now we are like checking if data is model is not null and user type is not null, then that means we successfully fetch the details from the database. So we are just simply storing that details inside the session, and we redirect to home page. Okay, so this is how we can read the data from database. Okay, you can see. So this is the code basically. The two classes, two or three classes. First class is data SQL data adapter to execute the query. Second is data set that store the data which is coming from the database. And second one is data row to fetch the data row wise from data set. Then we use data row. Okay, clear? Any doubt till here?
No problem.
Okay, all right. So, mm, okay. So now moving to the next. Okay, let me execute it again. Okay, see. So we able to fetch and able to land on home.aspx page. So again on home.aspx we are having these records. So these records is also coming from database. So with the same way. So let's go to the home page. So here you can see we have a bind method. A bind method is basically calling view all customers. Let's see what is inside this view all customer. So see, you can see again we are using a data adapter. So this time we are calling view all customer query. So that is This one, view all customer. So we are saying select customer code, sender name, mobile, bank from send receive users table. Okay, the same way. Again, we are using a data set and all. Okay, and last time we use a login model. So this time we are using send receive receiver model. We read the data row wise and we are populating the data inside this property, customer code, name, and banks. Okay, and okay, we are basically finally returning a list. You can see we are returning a list. Okay, so you can see once we uh, call this method, it will return me the list so that all the data will store inside all customer, and we are just simply providing this all customer to grid view. So grid view is, we can say, it's a control. Okay, so this is a grid view. So here you can say we have a data. So under this data, we have a grid view. You just need to drag and drop. Okay, and you can check with the properties as well, just for the designing purpose, the alternate row, color, background color, font, and all. So I just updated that one only. Okay, we want to allow sorting, true, false, like this. So this is the basically uh, here you can see the alternate row styling is this color code. So alternate record will be this with this color only. Okay. So here you can see when we call this find, so we are just simply providing all the list to the grid view. So and we are saying data source is all customer. Once we said grid view one dot data bind, so every the data will reflect on the grid view. So this is the select queries. Okay, let's see now the insert query. So here you can see we have one option that is open account. So open account means to say I need to fill the detail and say create account. So whatever the detail we have inserted here will save inside the table. So that is the account page. Let's go to this account page. Yeah, this one. Okay, so on create new account. Yeah. So this is a new account button. Click. So how we are adding a record in DB. Now we'll see that. Okay. So here we just simply using the model. Just we can say we are fetching the information from text box, that is sender name dot text, and assign to this model property that is sender name. Okay. Or then the related fields as well. Okay. We are basically reading the text from the controls and populating the value in this receive model properties. Okay, once the data is read from the controls, we will call this open account method and we pass this model. Okay, now open account method, again we still with the same technique. First we will check the connection state is closed or open. If it is closed, then first we open it. Then we call the SQL command. Okay, the SQL command. I think last we used SQL data adapter, yeah, or uh, read the data. Now we are using SQL command. Okay, so here we have like create new account, store procedure. So I have like created here create what's the name? Create new account. Yeah, this one. So here you can see we are like running insert query. Insert into sender receiver user table, and we are providing these parameters. Okay, to insert query. So how we can use this insert query? So we need to use SQL command. Everything is same, just we have just changed the class. For reading operation we use SQL data adapter. Now we are using SQL command. Rest everything is same. We are just providing the command type is store procedure. Then we are providing a parameter dot add the parameter name, the data type, and the value. Okay. So once the all the parameter is populated or provided, then we will say cmd dot execute none query, non query. So execute non query is basically used to execute insert or update query or even delete query as well. Okay, when we said cmd dot execute none query, so this query will get executed, and once the insert will perform, it will return me data in integer form, maybe 0 or 1. Okay, if the 0, okay, uh, it will return 0 or 1. So 0 means to say no data. If it is 1, then it means to say command completed successfully. Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. And once the command is executed, again we dispose this the object of this CMD, and we close the connection.
Okay.
Okay. So for update and delete, we also use this SQL command only.
Mm.
We just need to change the command. So like we have create. I think in this project do not have any delete query. Edit is there. Yeah, here you can see we have added account. So, but using the same commands, SQL command, using same execute non-query. We just need to change the query only. So let's see this edit account. So in edit account, we are running update query. Okay. So we have one remove transaction. So remove transaction. Okay, we are not deleting actually. We are doing the soft delete. We are just updating it is deleted true. Okay, so actually not actually performing a delete command. So, but for the delete command, the syntax will be the same. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, so let me repeat it again. So we have first the connection class. Using SQL connection, we able to uh, create the connection between application and database server. Uh, and the connection details we are like saving inside the web.config file. To read the details from Web.config file, we use configuration manager class. Once the connection is maintained, then we need to perform uh, further operations like insert update. Okay, so here like we are like running the select query. For the select query, we use SQL data adapter, and against this select query, a system will return the records. We use dataset class to save the records. From dataset, we need to read the data. Then we use data row. Okay. So this is all about like how we can create the connection with the application and the classes we have for the DB connection connectivity. Okay.
Yeah.
So uh, so I'm not able to complete the authentication module right now. So we are
Mm.
just left with a few minutes. So what we do, we will like cover that authentication tomorrow. Okay,
Okay.
so only the one example is left how we can, you know, create the database connectivity or users, I mean the users and all. Then we will
Mm.
fetch the data from there. I think the demo test is the actual DB. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh. Okay, we will see tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, so this is all about how we can like connect the database with the application.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. We'll
Thank
connect
you.
tomorrow on this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.